Is trigger-happy Israel trying to derail the fragile U.S. Iran talks before they reach the finish line? Netanyahu's defense chief has now revealed what appears to be Israel's real strategy behind closed doors. The IDF may be keeping its finger on the trigger, but is Mujtaba Khamenei still staying one step ahead? Is Netanyahu going rogue? An Israeli minister has dropped a major bombshell that could reshape the regional equation. As Trump dispatches envoys to Qatar to salvage diplomacy, is Israel still determined to see the war resume? Israel appears to be preparing for the possibility of another military confrontation with Iran despite Washington's efforts to ease regional tensions. Israel's hardline defense minister claimed that the IDF is prepared to fight another war with Iran as early as tomorrow. Katz further asserted that Israel is ready to retaliate immediately if Iran launches another missile attack. According to Katz, the IDF has already been granted the authority to independently launch military operations against Iran if required. The Netanyahu aide also appeared to signal to President Trump that Israel would not hesitate to act alone if necessary. The Israel defense minister said, and I quote, "If Iran fires missiles at Israel, Israel will strike Iran with force. There is no equation we will accept in which Iran fires at Israel. This has also been made clear to the Americans. The IDF is just waiting for it and is on alert. There are targets. When it comes to defending ourselves, there are no compromises, not in Lebanon and not in Iran." End quote. The Israeli defense minister also outlined two scenarios that, in his view, could reignite another war with Iran. Israel Katz further disclosed how the IDF has continued preparing on a full war footing for a potential confrontation with Tehran. The Israel defense minister said, and I quote, "One is that Trump decides the negotiations have run their course and wants to go back to striking, and the second is that Iran attacks us. If Iran attacks, that is the third Iran war. The situation is very clear. There is no reality in which Israel will allow missile fire at its territory without responding with force. It could happen within 2 days. My directive to the IDF is to prepare for a blue and white operation in Iran. We are preparing for the possibility that Iran will fire at us. The IDF is prepared both defensively and offensively. The IDF is prepared to repel and attack. If necessary, we will put the home front on alert as we did in the last confrontation. We will not hesitate to do so based on the IDF's recommendations. If we see a concrete danger, we will alert the home front and launch an attack." End quote. The Israeli minister also dismissed concerns over Iran's vast stockpile of missiles and drones as a strategic threat. Katz claimed Israel had inflicted irreversible damage on Iran's military capabilities and senior leadership during the conflict. The defense minister further argued that the so-called axis of resistance has now been forced to operate from the shadows. Katz also issued a direct threat against Iran's supreme leader, claiming Mujtaba Khamenei is marked for death, according to Yet News. However, when asked whether the United States would once again join Israel in a future conflict, Israel Katz avoided giving a direct answer. The Israeli minister also claimed that Iran is attempting to pressure Washington over the issue of Lebanon. The Israel defense minister said, and I quote, "The defensive partnership with the U.S. exists. But if Iran attacks, Israel acts with force. That is not conditional on anything. Trump is a friend of the state of Israel. In his worldview, he knows who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. The Prime Minister and I believed we should strike Dahi, and that was not simple because of the Americans. The test of striking Dahi exists. Iran is pressuring the US and could demand an Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon." End quote. Katz's remarks come just days after he welcomed the newly announced US-backed framework between Israel and Lebanon.
The agreement signed yesterday between the United States, Israel, and Lebanon is a historic event and an important diplomatic and security achievement for the State of Israel, one that could, for the first time in decades, shape a new and safer reality along the northern border and in Lebanon, while strengthening the security of Israel's citizens over the long term. As the Prime Minister and I pledged, the State of Israel is not withdrawing from Lebanon and is maintaining the security zone in southern Lebanon, including the Beaufort Ridge, with the area cleared of residents and terrorist infrastructure both above and below ground. Israel is also preserving the IDF's freedom of action to eliminate threats against our soldiers and the communities and residents of the north. The key principle established by the agreement is that there will be no Israeli redeployment in southern Lebanon, no withdrawal whatsoever. For as long as the Hezbollah terrorist organization has not been disarmed throughout Lebanon and the security of northern residents is guaranteed. This is a fundamental condition to which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and I committed ourselves, and which we are upholding. The agreement reflects the achievements of the IDF, the bravery of our soldiers fighting for the security of northern residents, and the resilience shown by the people of northern Israel in the face of a difficult and challenging situation. The agreement also constitutes a strategic blow to the Iranian axis. Iran attempted to force Israel to withdraw from Lebanon through threats and pressure on the United States, and it failed. Instead, a framework has been established and signed by the United States, Israel, and Lebanon that requires Hezbollah to be disarmed throughout Lebanon and makes clear that Lebanon's future will not be dictated by Iran and Hezbollah. Should Iran attempt to attack Israel in order to prevent the implementation of the agreement, we will respond with overwhelming force and demonstrate the existing imbalance in power between us. The real test will be the implementation of the agreement, and many challenges still lie ahead. The Prime Minister and I have instructed the IDF to prepare for a prolonged presence in the security zone and to make the necessary preparations to protect IDF soldiers and eliminate threats to the northern communities. We will act with determination to ensure that every commitment is fully implemented. We promise security for the residents of the North, and that is exactly what we have delivered and will continue to deliver.
Meanwhile, Trump's envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are in Qatar to advance the latest round of U.S. Iran negotiations. However, in a major twist, Qatar has announced that Iran will not be holding direct talks with the American delegation.
The U.S. envoy, Mr. Steve Witkoff and Mr. Jared Kushner are here in Doha to meet with the mediators, meaning with the Qatari officials, and the talks will be around all regional issues which are of concern, including, of course, the negotiations with Iran, but also including Lebanon and other files in the region. So they are not here for direct negotiations with the Iranians or related meetings. We're not expecting any high-level Iranian officials at the moment, but as I said, the technical meetings are ongoing since Luzern, and they haven't stopped since then. Our position has always been very clear, which is that there should be no impediment to freedom of navigation through the strait and out, and that it's an international strait that we should all use openly and without any hindrance.